Warriors, welcome. Today we tackle a very heavy subject when it comes to health anxiety, when it comes to hypochondria. People come to me and say, Dennis, I'm scared of abruptly dying, feeling that pain, and nobody being around me to help me. That's one. Dennis, I'm scared of living. I've never felt love. I've never felt gratitude. I've never lived with relaxation, zen, kind of a clear mind. I'm scared of living. That's number two. And number three is, Dennis, I'm scared of developing cancer. So we go searching for every symptom. We become very, very curious as to what a symptom might mean, a sensation. We read something, someone tells us something, and all of a sudden we begin to attach somebody else's story to what may happen in our lives. You know, everybody out there has someone who's developed cancer, gone through the struggle, and it is painful. I know how painful it is, so I can relate to people's fears when it comes to cancer. I truly understand where you're coming from. But today's the day where I want to shed some light, some clarity on the subject, so that we can begin moving away from this fear, okay, and begin to tap into another voice that's playing out in our heads that says, hey, the puzzle pieces are already there. You already are doing everything that you need to do in order to avoid such ailments. So go ahead and live your life. Okay, so I want to move in that direction. I'm not going to send you guys reassurance because that's not what I do, but I will fill you with clarity and understanding, my friends. Cancer results when the immune system fails to do its job and allows cancer cells to survive long enough to begin to replicate within the body. Okay, let's understand cancer first of all right? Now, when we're going through this video, I'm going to touch on a couple of things that is going to fill you with the answers that you've been seeking when it comes to cancer, okay? First things first, no two people on this planet perceive the same event the same way, okay? Different perspective equals different emotions, all right? Different internal environments. So we could, I could be here and I could be beside my old anxious self, and we could be reading a newspaper article on how cancer is developing so quickly in the Western world, for example. I could view that article in one way, which will then send me into more neutral emotions, and my old self over here, Dennis the anxious guy, not the anxiety guy, he views the article and he goes, oh my goodness, it's running wild out there. It's going to get me eventually. Oh my goodness, I have the same symptom as what I just read, and so forth. Our perspective, okay, determines our emotional level. So the first thing we need to understand is that if someone is becoming very emotional as far as reading an article, the news story, whatever it may be, okay, a symptom, you don't have to take on that person's perspective. You don't have to take on their world view. You can, in fact, create a neutral response that will then create a neutral emotion within you. This is trained. This is trained. And every single time that you get the opportunity to train this, you must. You must train this new response that says, that's their problem, that's their ailment, okay? They don't have the factors that I'm working on in myself so greatly. So in that aspect and in that regard, I need to separate myself from that story. That's the first thing. The second thing is we do not need to react the way we were taught to react to something, all right? Someone's disease doesn't have to mean attachment and sadness. A funeral doesn't have to mean grieving for the rest of your life. When we were young, we were taught to be a certain way when something happens. Guess what? A lot of what I was taught was false. I began to realize this later in life. I didn't need to be so grieving when someone passed away. Yes, it was sad. Yes, it affected me. But I didn't need to ruin my own life because someone else passed away. I could, in fact, celebrate the fact that that person was in my life for as long as they were. I could begin to perceive it differently and therefore feel differently and therefore move away from anxiety. Okay, so the second thing to understand is that we do not need to react the way that we were taught to react. And a lot of people out there have these core beliefs that are ingrained within them from childhood. Authority figures such as parents, coaches, teachers, siblings, no matter what it was, they ingrained us with what we're currently believing. And it's as if you have a phone that's never been updated in your life. You haven't updated your phone since childhood. Imagine what that would be like. All right? The third thing to understand when we're dealing with the C word is that we must view things that make us feel icky, make us feel icky as opportunistic, an opportunity to challenge the limiting beliefs, just like I mentioned earlier. So when the word cancer arises, when you're in a certain environment that gives you icky feelings, when someone says something to you, my friends, these are opportunities to challenge the feeling and to challenge the thought that goes with that feeling. This is done through repetition, emotion and repetition. You must have the courage to challenge these old ways of thinking, these old ways of believing things. This is what I had to do. I had to start from somewhere, and I changed my approach to what I was feeling. If I was going into a mall, my subconscious mind would then react because I had a panic attack there maybe 2 years ago. And I don't remember the panic attack much, but I do understand what the feeling is connected to. The feeling is connected to a memory. The feeling is connected to a trapped emotion. It's saying, don't go there, it's too scary, please, it's dangerous, it's a threat to our lives. And for a long time I believed it, and I didn't go to those places. But then I started to challenge those things systematically, step by step. I began to understand that if I can think about this environment differently, this word differently, this person differently, I will change my emotional reaction to that thing. Less judgment, more neutralness. All right? The fourth thing to understand is that we must understand how a person's lifestyle habits are the main cause of cancer, not genetics. My friends, everybody has an opinion on this, and this is my personal opinion. Lifestyle habits play a massive role. Lifestyle patterns play a massive role in the development of cancer. And so we go around thinking that because our family members has something, that we're going to get it as well. The emotion will destroy someone faster than the physical ailment ever will. This is important. If you attach yourself to an idea, okay, and you relive that idea over and over again for years and decades and so forth, it's inevitable that something eventually needs to give. So the emotion, okay, will do much more damage than the actual the emotion will do much more damage than the actual physical ailment will. Okay, let's understand this. Lifestyle habits, okay? In today's world, there's a couple of very big red flags going on that are causing the development of cancer. Number one, and you need to be aware of these things, my friends. Number one is the dramatic increase of meat consumption. That's the first thing, okay? You can see the dramatic increase in meat consumption around the world, okay? The number two thing is processed and fast foods. A lot of times when I was in the US, for example, and doing some workshops there, every block had a McDonald's. Every block had a Burger King. Every block had a KFC. I mean, it's your choice, but you know what? I'm saying, holy smokes, if I see McDonald's enough, and it's on every block, if I see it enough, I'm eventually going to go into McDonald's, or I better practice my immense amounts of willpower in order to not go in there. But again, habits can be built. It doesn't mean that just because something is out there that you need to follow through and say, ooh, I get this emotional feeling, oh, it tastes so good to have those fries. Guess what? You can then begin to connect tons and tons of pain towards eating those processed foods and those fast foods. The problem is that you're connecting too much pleasure instead of connecting pain to it. What's the pain? You might develop cancer. That's enough pain for me, my friends. Number three is exposure to industrial toxins. Huge in today's world. Exposure to industrial toxins. Not only that, but I'm talking things that are invisible to us, such as Wi-Fi, such as Bluetooth, these sorts of things. So I'm very cautious as I go about my days understanding the toxicity that's around me in my room, in my living room, outside, and so forth. There's a lot of things we can't escape, but of course, if we can be conscious enough, we will then help our bodies to overcome, okay, these cancer cells, okay, that inevitably might develop if you're not conscious of these things. The fourth thing is mass use of known carcinogens such as chlorine and fluoride in the public water supply. This is important. We've got to be conscious of this. And the last one is a rise in cigarette smoking since World War II. These are all contributing factors to cancer. So what we do is we say, well, okay, that's not there. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm conscious. I'm way ahead of many other people out there, okay? Because I'm taking care of these little things. Now the puzzle is complete. There is no missing puzzle pieces, okay? I'm taking care of my health. I'm taking care of my sleep. I'm taking care of my diet. I'm taking care of my relationships. I'm taking care of my repressed emotions. What else can I do? Okay, so let's understand that if you are taking care of these things, these fundamentals, you can be clear in your mind, knowing that you are doing everything that you can to avoid such physical ailments. And my friends, because of that, we must practice strengthening our faith muscle. There's two things that you can invisibly believe in, fear or faith. And it's up to you to strengthen your faith muscle, okay, in the ability of your body to take care of things and trusting in your body, trusting in your spirit, okay, rather than practicing your fear muscle, which then holds you back from living a fulfilling life. Now, there's a couple things that I want you guys to be aware of that you can start doing, okay, start actively taking action towards starting today to help you never develop cancer. First thing is build up your immune system. Build up your immune system. And the best way I've found, okay, to build up your immune system is, of course, to be conscious of what you're putting in your body, but to practice skills that you haven't practiced in a long time. Laughter, smiling, whatever it may be. You know the things that make you feel good. Go ahead and do them because they all contribute to strengthening your immune system. The second thing you can do is detox 4 times a year and release any of those toxins in your body that you're currently carrying around. Okay, detox 4 times a year. I do it, and it really strengthens my immune system, strengthens my mind, strengthens my emotions. It's truly helpful. The third thing that you can do starting today is minimize your exposure to toxins and foods that are likely to increase the number of cancerous cells in your body. Okay, so make sure that you stay away from processed toxic foods. This is massive. And not only foods, my friends, but toxic people. If there are toxic people in your life, I mean, there is a certain energy that is emanating from those people, and it is affecting you. Someone who is neutral as far as their emotions can be very much affected by somebody who is extremely negative because there's a certain energy field that they attract towards you, okay? And it's affecting you. It's affecting your mind, your emotions. It's affecting the way you feel. It's affecting the way you see yourself, and it's affecting the way you see the world. So make sure that if there's any toxicity that you're putting in and that you're hanging around, you take care of that, my friends. I want you to understand something. Somebody else's story doesn't have to be your story, okay? A newspaper article doesn't have to relate to what you're going through. You can create a block, a wall between what you're reading, what you're hearing, okay, and who you are as a person. I'm taking care of myself, and there are many, many factors that contributed to that person's developing of cancer that doesn't apply to me. And therefore, I create that wall, okay, and I stay away from entertaining the thoughts that will lead to fearful and negative and pessimistic emotions, my friends. This is something that you can begin doing starting today because you are healthy. You are watching these videos. You are developing your character. Everything that you're doing is conscious. And you know what? There's a lot of people out in the world that are not conscious. They go by emotions. Oh, it would feel good to do that. Oh, it would feel good to eat that. And next thing you know, they're surprised when they develop cancer. But you, my friend, are completely different. So clear your mind, understand that you're moving in the right direction, and I love you so very much. You are more than anxiety. Love you. See you soon. And make sure to hit the bell below to receive all the notifications for my videos, my friends. Love you. Bye-bye.